We're about to move into pick and ban game 3. And in Fearless, that's always nice. Getting to this final solution. What's it going to be here? A lot of AD carries out. Kais is a big deal. Yunara is a big deal. But the vibe, perma-banned here on blue side so far today, it seems, as Gwen will follow suit.
Yeah, Varus, I don't think we're going to see much of Varus, to be honest, as this play.
We're going to agree with that.
To go on, but yeah, I'm curious now what they want to continue. Is here more than likely going to be the continuous right side ban alongside that there, as there it is coming through. Xin Zhao, though, still up and available for those junglers, which was kind of the one that I was keeping my eyes on for quite a while. Like, he is most played in LPL, he is second most played in LCK, so I thought we'd get a little bit more of him, but maybe this is where the party shifts across to him.
Yeah, maybe now, right? Fnatic, what jungler do they want? It's like, it could be the only thing open. The Trundle, though, is one of the few things up and available. And it's like on the other side, well, it's going to be Xin Zhao or it's going to be a tank, which the Trundle excels into, while Team Heretics say, nah, forget it for now. We're going to get a strong 2v2 for our bot lane.
It does make sense, because I think a lot of the power picks have already been taken away. And if you look across at the eastern regions, there's a lot of Sivir, there's a lot of Jhin and these kind of champions that are creeping in. But we'll have to see if that's what Upset wants to try and go for here. But I still think opting towards
Tournament mid again. Wow.
Towards matching the early AD carry and support is your best bet.
Oh my. Now, Mikyx has self-proclaimed to us that he is the best Neeko support in the LEC. But we do have a legend in the mid lane who is a very good Neeko mid. So let's hold on that. Let's wait and see if we get a bit of cinema for our final game. The hover is out of respect here. Team Heretics just thinking about what they can do maybe to match. As Ezreal, of course, along for Upset is one pick you talked about, Dagda, at the start of today. Are they going to get their jungler here? Jax. That could technically be a flex, but most likely top, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jax was kind of the answer to Xin Zhao because a lot of his damage was auto attack based.
That is true.
In the jungle. So I can see the similar logic being applied here to Trundle, where it's just like, well, you just straight up can't hit me, so I win.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see if that's what Sheo was thinking here. I'd imagine it is more than likely going up towards Carlsen in that top lane, though. And I thought actually we'd get a little bit more of the top lane bans, but with Kamiloo gone and Bessa gone, and also like some of the tanks already been taken off the board, I don't think there's a huge amount that can really answer into Jax in that top side of the map.
Yeah. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, a lot's been taken off as Heretics have gotten rid of Victor from Poby. His most played of Challengers League earlier in this year, and they're assuming that it is going to be Mikyx with the Neeko in the bot side. The tree taken away from EU. Seems like a good call when Team Heretics really only have few options left available. The Jace also taken away as well. The Lilia, they think that is definitely going to be Jack's top. Further to that, as that Neeko could also be, that Aurora could be anywhere. Could be a mid Aurora, that could also be top right now. We got some flex being played with.
So that's what I was just trying to look up. I was trying to see what Oscarinin looked like on the Aurora, because I can't think of him in my head that he's actually brought it out, but I could be wrong with that.
He's played a lot of picks, so I don't blame you.
But I was going to say that's probably the only other thing I'd imagine into the Jax in that top side, but kind of taking that away. So it looks like still going to opt in towards at least some sort of AP answer, and will be Gragas potentially.
Hang on, guys, hang on. We've already got Syndra. If we go Vega top, we may as well run it. And Annie's already been picked in the series so far. Kennen would add a lot of AP.
Yeah. Kennen can work into the Jax as well, but yeah, I don't mind Gragas or the Kennen. The only thing is, you're kind of now looking at, okay, can we rely on Mikyx with his flashes to close that gap to make sure that we can get the big pop blossom off as that engage, or Poby hitting a Syndra stun to try and set that up. So it is a little bit conditional when it comes towards the engage tools, especially when you've got a lot of like deep strikes or repositioning coming through from Heretics.
It's Jack's jungle.
It is Jack's jungle, okay.
I mean, that's again, Fnatic used 2 jungle bans. Jax was pulled in early. You talked about the theory behind it running into Trundle, and now Aatrox goes into the Gragas. It feels like for Team Heretics, they played with these flexes really well.
Yeah, we'll have to see now if it is going to be able to find that success, because I still think if you can have Kamiloo push in mid and start to join with Jax, that could be fantastic. But in a straight up 2v2, if I'm Fnatic, I can still play the 2v2, just target Kamiloo, right? And then you still end up winning out on the extended play. So I'm curious exactly how you want to try and play the mid jungle on Heretics, but still, I think for Heretics, you got decent engage, you got decent side lanes again, good team fighting. And Fnatic, similar story. And a lot more disruption. So I think, again, it is going to come down to how both these teams execute, and Heretics thus far have kind of been the team that's been executing better.
There's like Fnatic as well. To add a layer onto that, there's a bit of range set up too, like Syndra, Ezreal, things like Trundle into the mix with Gragas. That is a paragraph. I'm not reading it, but it says it to what did. Everyone at home can do that for me. It's been on long enough, I may as well have read it. And now I can't. All right, never mind. Look.
No, go for it. There we go. Go.
It's to Wadid. I just watched him all morning. Didn't have time. Cameraman just destroyed me. All right, well, game 3. Remember, it's only a single round robin. Winner walks away with the best of 3 win to start off their split in summer. And you've heard every win counts, and sometimes you think it's rubbish, but it really is true here. The winner walking away with a massive head-to-head win, with a massive best of 3 start. If Team Heretics could do this against Fnatic, it would set a statement in the league before it's even begun.
I mean, it also puts the fear of God into SK and BDS and other teams that are kind of competing. We'd imagine, maybe Fnatic included, who are competing for the spots at the bottom, because if Heretics can pick up a win here, it just means that they set themselves up so nicely with maybe we have an extra win over some of those other teams that are competing for playoffs. But honestly, with the way Heretics are playing, they are looking like they would be a moving out of groups, because it's been pretty stellar from them thus far. Clean, mostly, with some individual mistakes, but you're only just back. That can clean up.
I just hope it's not like the start of spring. I think from what I'm recalling, with like an insane start, then it breaks off a little bit, ends okay, and then first round of playoffs, bam, done. You know, Vitality could say the same thing last split for spring, right? I put them in the same category, where they felt like they were big contenders at points of the split, but couldn't hold up the consistency. So again, consistency is really important, but in best of 3s, that also matters within the realms of the series. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking about him all day, and there's one special man out there as well who's also been mentioning him too. Don't forget that we've hyped up the mid laner of Fnatic, who I don't think has been the problem today. I think Poby has had an okay debut, and he's had CS gaps over Kamiloo in both games.
Honestly, Poby's kind of been the person making the plays for Fnatic that has drawn them back from the brink. When you look back to game number 1, it was his play to help Razork stay alive in the Wukong with the shockwave that started that Fnatic rise once more towards the top. And in the last game as well, he had that play, that pick onto Kamiloo with the flash anti-stun that nearly turned that game around for Fnatic. So definitely it's been Poby who's kind of been the shining light for me. And I think for a lot of the T1 fans and the T1 team, they'll be looking at him to see that hopefully he can find that success. And honestly, the team can kind of step up around him to support him in that endeavor.
It is really nice, again, from FLICKR and Owner, you saw there, like the support that's come through from old teammates only through a brief window, but old comrades through the same organization in T1. Really think he can do something, and a lot of fans are hopeful as well that he can make his waves in his first LEC split outside of Korea. Good scout of the week here. Poby, full HP. Kamiloo hasn't been able to touch him. Good sidestep as well. The power of Syndra early. Range is such a big factor. And Kamiloo in a bit of hell here with orbs down, but Sheo coming in might change it immediately. Poby not going to be flashed on, but he flashes away. So good summoner trade here as Sheo gets one down.
Really good flash from Poby to be able to get away from the stun. Sheo didn't want to burn his own flash to try and follow, so Poby have to escape away. But now, not having that summoner spell does mean he'll have to be very careful of potential for, like, when Flakked and Stend reset, potentially for a play on mid. But Razork looking for the dive.
He's thinking about the dive. Both summoners are up, flashes immediately, cleanse, then Flakked matches it, but the root underneath turret makes it a disaster. Turning into a minion helps out, and Mikyx absorbs the pressure. First blood over to Razork, but they're going again. Dagda, they're going again. Stend up against the turret is going to charge out and at least get Fnatic's flash in the end. Razork has to burn his. Stend does survive for the time being, but Fnatic are denying all these minions against Flakked.
Nicely done by Mikyx. It turns into the cannon minion so you don't get that ramp damage off the turret, and he's able to just tank that up for such a long period of time. Set up for a kill on Flakked, and a ton of minions now lost. Stend, I thought might have been trying to interrupt the resets, but we'll have to be a little bit careful if he did.
Pull the minion wave a little bit, hoping he can find a cancel the reset, as you said. Carlsen not going to get too much as a body slam from Oscarinin disengages him from the trade. Meanwhile, Razork has moved all the way to topside quite quickly and is defending his topside camp as he starts on the grok.
So I think for Fnatic now, You can already see where Mikyx going on the map. It is the Ezreal going towards the mid lane. It's kind of the protect mid a little bit until Poby's flash is back up and available. And this is kind of the scary moment we were talking about, is when Flakked and Stend go for a reset and Stend is missing heroes.
Yeah, I mean, there's no minion wave. He just came up individually.
Yeah, but it's just a case of keep Poby safe from Stend trying to play on mid alongside Sheo when Poby doesn't have the flash, especially as Flakked has gone for that reset in towards his top side, so trying to mismatch the bot lane after that unfortunate reset time of frame.
And the mechanics are there. Just focusing on mid again. Really good side steps as Kamiloo fast approaching level 6. Poby half the way there as well. Finally, a bit of trade connects. As I've noticed back-to-back games, Dagda, Dark Seal in the inventory, whether that's confidence or just good, good, what do you call it? Good dotting of the I's and the T's.
It's not a bad plan, right? Like you don't lose out on a huge amount of gold when you sell it, and it's cost efficient when you initially get it. So it's never a bad idea to do it. It's like something nice does a huge amount as well. But Fnatic putting pressure on this bottom side. So with Flakked having the freeze in top lane again, Oscarinin kind of needs to find a job, so it's down towards his bottom side and help Fnatic secure the plates. I
mean, that bot dive has ruined the game for Team Heretics. They're going to swap into the mismatch now, but Kamiloo and Stend are coming down, so for Fnatic, it's not going to be as easy as that. Oscarinin doesn't have his ulti, but they're thinking, hey, even with the Between Worlds, can we do anything here? Oscar's still the target, but Fnatic back away. There's no retribution, there's no hold, and they're going to walk out with this gold lead. They're going to go back to the lanes that they want, with Upset moving to top.
Yeah, at least the wave now is pushing back out to Oscarinin, but they are going to lose a little bit on the wave that's pushed in that top side. But I imagine now that we'll actually have Heretics try and reset once more and send Flakked to the bottom side, but Carlsen might be in trouble.
Oscarinin has level 6. Carlsen might have the world ender, but his end of worlds coming first. You know it. All it takes is an ulti, a bomb down, and Razork coming in with the pillar. It finally explodes him, but Carlsen's on the right side of the map. Oh, I don't like that one, as Stend now comes in just to make sure Carlsen's okay. I feel like that guy should have been dead, but Oscarinin sent him to safety.
Yeah, I was going to say, Oscarinin actually ended up just punting him back in towards his safety. He was able to then flash up towards the tower, keep himself safe, and Stend was able to TP in, and now Oscarinin does interrupt the knock-up as Heretics get the reset that they want. And Upset now pushing in this top side means that Carlsen should be able to collect that wave as he hits the tower and doesn't have to burn the TP.
I'm sure that Carlsen is going to die there for a second kill for Fnatic, but nevertheless, I come back to what I was highlighting before, the fact that Fnatic are still up in CS, and despite that play not going forward, there's still a CS lead between Oscarinin and Carlsen, between Poby and Kamiloo, and especially between that bot lane that was so successful before. Upset in the mismatch here, looking for yet another play.
Yeah, just trying to get plates and answer for at least some of the pressure that's been on the map. Like, it's Flakked is trying to avoid Upset because he was set behind early, which is why we're kind of seeing now Carlsen being the person that takes the L on this, where he's got to try and mismatch into Upset, constantly trying to catch the waves as best he can. But for Flakked, at least it means he gets the farm up relatively freely.
Yeah.
And even now, it's Sheo that's able to get the dragon, as it'll be Razork who's moving up towards those void books.
And despite getting invaded, Sheo's still up, not up in CS. I mean, he will be when the dragon goes down, of course, but Sheo's still keeping track. And we talked about it in Game 2, but let's just remind you all, Sheo did the second most bit of damage on his team as a Sejuani in Game 2.
Yeah, so Flakked did the most, and you have Ryze and Kamiloo as your solo laners, and Sheo's like, no, I got this, lads. Let me show you how it's done.
I mean, I just can't believe it. Picks up the dragon, and now just goes back to clearing his camps as the Jax, power farming to Trinity Force. You'd say the same about Razork, but he's got a lot more action in this game, and I will say, despite the fact that we came into this saying that Sheo's gapped Razork quite a bit, this game has been a better start here. Trundle more proactive, but first time that they've actually gotten all 3 grubs, even touched the grubs in this series.
And maybe about to hit on towards his top side as well.
Oh dear, that TP might hurt Carlsen. His world ender up and available again, sends the minions away, but the healing this early on just won't cut it. Under turret, Razork takes him down, and Mikyx, that mechanic is so broken, but he's got to love it.
Mikyx turns himself into a cannon minion and literally just walks back and forth underneath the tower. Doesn't even mind it. And that's going to be first tower, but counterpunch now for Heretics. We'll have to see if it's going to work out. You have ult for Oscarinin and flash, which makes this a lot more difficult to play.
Gragas is just so hard to pin down. Sheo knows it, and all they can do is try and find a bit in response. There's a bit of gold shared between the bottom laners, but look towards top. 3 grubs makes all the difference. First turret blood. Fnatic are going to pick that one up in spades. In this early game, I think it's been the most convincing early game from them this series.
Yeah, big time. I mean, it's the fact that they actually have a decent lead coming out of this is huge. 2.5K, upset in a really good spot. But also they have just been the ones making the proactive plays.
Yep.
The last 2 games, it has been very defensive from Fnatic, trying to nullify what Heretics can do, trying to, feels like, play for where they believe they'll be stronger in the mid game, but it's kind of just giving Heretics a run of how they want to make things happen. Now, you've got upset in the position, you can try and play through them. Same when you look towards Razork, the Trundle is going to be very, very strong at this early point of the game. So Heretics need to be the ones now on the back foot, trying to spot out Razork and match the plays.
We've got a lot of space to do so for the next 3 minutes. For Razork, it'll just be clear central. He's got his Trinity Force in hand. Sheo's obviously a little bit behind, as you can see on the gold screen. Again, we're just going to chill for a little bit. First Dragon was picked up by Team Heretics, and to say that Team Heretics have been picking up early Dragons is quite obvious throughout the 3 games that we've seen so far. But Fnatic in the driver's foot. Doesn't even feel like we know at this point, as the bottom lane of Team Heretics getting bullied again. Stend is going to battle dance to Flakked and gets the extra range thanks to the Xayah couple's passive. But this is turning into a full-on dive again.
Yeah, Sheo's here to try and cover. You have to be a little bit careful.
There's 4 members here first, though, and it depends on the chance. The Bomber avoided. Flakked dodges the True Shot Barrage. The re-engage is good, and Razork caught out. The Between Worlds doesn't do too much here from Kamiloo, but it holds Fnatic at bay. Team Heretics bot lane will survive another day.
This is what we were talking about. Heretics needing to match the plays from Fnatic. Sheo does a good job of getting into a position where he can actually keep Razork from entering in towards that bot lane and also covering his exit, so then you can look for the counter punch. Kamiloo had to roam down to try and help out in that play, so Poby will get a plate on mid, but now Fnatic kind of just looking for the full tower take. Sheo holding here once more, worried that the dive might still be coming through.
Upset getting engaged on this. An exhaust. Stend's going to get the quickness and the battle range. Sets up the pop blossoms, the disengage, but Mikyx knows his AD carry's dead. Sheo, great timing, and Flakked and Stend hit a window.
Nice from Stend there. He basically just was like, I'm going to catch you. I get the movement speed coming through from the quickness. So either you try and move away with the arcane shift, and then I follow up with the grand entrance, or you end up just getting caught. Now, Upset did have the flash, so could have at least tried to maybe arcane shift and flash away, but decided to hold on to it instead.
And while that's a small moment from Stend in this game alone, I think we've had many of them throughout the series so far. Like, Stend in this game, sure, you know, he's only done a little bit of damage, but I want to highlight that this guy throughout the whole series on the Thresh game, what do we have game 1? Alistar Dagda, or was that was Mikyx?
He was Rel.
He was Rel, and he had some of the crucial engages that set up Team Heretics.
The Rel game, some of the engages were a bit messy.
But the problem was the game got messy, you know?
In general, it's been decent.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to have to try and continue that, because, again, he's going to kind of be that main tool that tries to set up for the plays. And then having Sheo follow up as kind of that secondary engage tool. But Dragon up in 30 seconds. Stend being a bit of a nuisance here, but taking some damage first.
Just going to walk away. Dragon's up in 30 seconds. Let's do an item check for everyone at home who does not like to look. There's Trinity Force now picked up for the Jax as Kamiloo's just getting rampaged down, flashes away. Well, when Trundle has your number, it's very easy to follow up. PTA burst, and Kamiloo's out of it.
Kamiloo's gone. Dragon might be gone as a result as well, though.
So.
You can see the push from Poby on that bottom side. Razork constantly keeping him protected, and also having Mikyx there means that they should be able to put pressure on the spot tear and then fall back to Dragon. TP potentially coming through as Carlsen looks for the reset, though, and there's a ward in behind Fnatic.
Look at the range, the setup we talked about in draft. Between Worlds going to set up first over the turret's gone for Kamiloo. That might be an in, and Poby just waiting. He unleashes power first, then he scatters. The weak is Kamiloo. And with the feats of warfare down, Fnatic have picked up already the first blood, but Carlsen with his flank tries to bring an interim to Heretics, flashing on upset with the pop blossom. It's a disengage, turn golden! Mikyx sets up, but Sheo with a counter strike in the backline brings the fight back. The feathers for Flakked are great, scatter the weak. Poby's trying to return the fight to Fnatic, and I think he's done it. The range, beautiful from Fnatic, because when it gets messy, you can believe upset's there to clean it up.
Heretics didn't want to commit to the play fully and fast enough that they could actually turn that play around. The play was there. You can see Carlsen's already reset. He's staying in base so then he can get that TP into the war behind, but by the time they do, the tower's gone. Kamiloo falls with it, and Heretics just aren't quite quick enough to collapse onto the play. And even as they started to come forward here, they have to try and overextend to try and support Carlsen. The flash comes through from Poby. Then you get the Arcane Shift and upset. Even here, as everyone jumps onto him, it gets an Arcane Shift away again, so Sheo doesn't get that damage down. And it's that massive pop blossom from Mikyx that buys the space that Fnatic need to keep those key damage dealers up and available in the fights.
I just called upset at Janitor. Maybe I should have been calling Poby the manager. I think Mickey is the boss, because Mickey, again, saving grace. It's hard to talk about one member without talking about more. Here for Fnatic, 4K gold lead, and that is a huge chunk. That was damage dealt to champions from Mickey, and he's doing more than Poby. What a surprise.
Neeko is a fair support.
That is a very balanced champion, I think.
But still, those are the kind of plays that you want from Fnatic. And I like the idea from Heretics, but again, the trigger just wasn't quite pulled fast enough. And now Fnatic open up 7-2, a 4,000 gold lead. Rift Herald to boot as well. And it's just going to become very difficult for Heretics to hold onto the map. Mid tower is immediately, it looks like, going to be taken by Fnatic as they move in here with the Rift Herald. And at that point, the pick potential from Fnatic becomes absurd against Heretics.
Herald's going to be popped through mid. The speed is ramping. Poby's coming in just in case as well, and the Herald will chunk to get first out of turret, or rather first in mid.
Sheo's in behind them. That is the TP as well. Heretics are collapsing.
But Oscar's also in the way, so on that TP, that might be a bait. Oscar sends them packing. Kamiloo and Sheo now have to run out. Blast Cone is just going to be used to get some distance, and Fnatic are ready to turn.
Yeah, Heretics keep trying to make these plays happen, but unfortunately they're just not able to corral Fnatic into where they need. Mikyx also had sent that clone into the bush just outside of River, so spotted, I think, Sheo as he tried to move in towards mid lane as well. So still here, Carlsen going wide on both.
Infernal Chains misses though. There is a smite for Razork, and yeah, just pulls it out. Yoink and walks away. So Fnatic, they keep getting more and more this early game. You know, it's a disaster for Heretics now, and are really starting to bleed.
Yeah, you can still see though, like there is like these kind of wards that constantly Heretics are trying to play for, and it looks like that's kind of going to be their plan now, is they're just going to keep throwing these Hail Marys and see if maybe they can get Carlsen's TP going to be up in a moment to catch someone out who overextends on that bottom side. But 2.5 minutes until Dragon, and not really any objectives up on the map. It's not really going to be a ward that gets much more value, but at least you can see Heretics are kind of leaving these little breadcrumbs around the place where maybe they lead to something.
It'll only be Carlsen who can pick them up. And Stend with an unsealed spellbook potentially is simply a clone. Mikyx is on the hunt, seeing what he can find in familiar territory. Is 2 minutes till Dragon. Heretics, right now, they feels like they're going to have to fight with it, because Fnatic, it'll be number 2. It'll be another chance to fight with an item advantage. Can they find anything? Razork's just looking deep, and I mean, it does feel strange the first time in this series that we've talked about Fnatic in a commanding position outside of the Game 1 teamfight win. Yeah, everything else has been blitz for Team Heretics.
I do like the way Fnatic are also playing the map at the moment, because all they're constantly doing is playing for this protection line, and it means that then Poby can constantly play up, get the wave that he wants to, and you're gonna, Mikyx and Razork have just been playing as a duo.
Subjugate's been used, Sheo ultis, but on the way out, the explosive cast sends him to the left, and Razork, as he flashes out and upset misses the true shot barrage, he's putting a statement on in this final game. Finally, he's come to life in this series. Fnatic looking for a little bit more. Blast Cone wants to be taken aggressively. Mikyx with a pop blossom, but under turret, even with a pillar up. Flakked sends out the feathers. Stend, the quickness, it turns into a fight, but he runs into a big fat belly. Walking away. Stend lucky to be alive, but Fnatic healthy as anything. We'll take another turret to the left. Bomber again, but Oscarinin flashes away. Mikyx can't get the tangle barbs, and it gets close.
Yeah, so Heretics tried to just give tier 2 for the tier 1 take on top, but Poby's now TP'd in, and Carlsen's getting corralled.
Good scat of the week, though. Poby needs to keep his distance. Carlsen has flash available. Razork on the way in as well. World Ender up and available. Infernal Chains into a minion is not what you want to see as he gets this Sundered Sky, but that healing won't cut it. Pillar up in the way again, and Poby scatters the weak. Another kill over the mid lane.
Fnatic need to reset fairly quickly, though. Dragon in 20 seconds. You want to be able to move into that position now. Carlsen is obviously dead, has the teleport if Heretics can find a way to delay until he gets up, but Heretics are just, this game got out of control very, very quickly for them. Fnatic are doing a good job now in the commanding position, closing the game out cleanly.
Sheo positioning, Poby going back to safety where he thinks is safe. They need vision though. Kamiloo has to walk up, but Sheo's already away. Doesn't want to risk it. Aatrox up in 40 seconds. Dragon's now up. Oscar on the way up. Sheo has been playing his Tom Cruise version in this game for long enough. Now he's spotted, but they need more burst. The all-out going to be used, or rather Sheo's ulti and Oscarinin at half HP. It might turn sour though. It's Mikyx walking up with the tangle bars. Connects on the enemy Jax. True Shot Barrage helps out. A body slam, a barrel roll. Upset in the mix, and a mystic shot to send him down. Counter-strike buys the time, but the auto time so perfectly. Fnatic get the dragon, get the blood, and they're looking for another. Onto Kamiloo and Arcane Shift with everything in between hitting. Mikyx just needs another tangle barbs, and Kamiloo gets tagged by the end. Upset almost connects for a second one, but that's how dire it is for Heretics in this final game.
Fnatic again reading it well. Heretics hadn't shown on the map at all. You can even see Oscarinin was getting a little bit suspicious about exactly what Heretics were up to. So Fnatic go to cover their top laner. They still get the dragon.
Oh, I would not fight this Trundle. I would not fight this Trundle. Chomp away for the Gromp. Razork is level 12, the same level as enemy top. Well, it's his own top as well, but there is a level difference between junglers, just to show you how that gap's developing.
There's a lot of flowers here, though.
There are lots. Oscar.
Especially if you get the Aatrox, that's going to definitely help as well.
Oscar going to go on a first date with the flowers in bot lane. Meanwhile, Sheo's caught again, pillars up. He can't get anywhere near the fight. Razork's just chasing down. True Shot Barrage layers, and there's great damage. Oscarinin thinking about his angle again. He bombers onto the enemy top lane, and Carlsen flashes away after an unleashed power, but his world ender's out. He needs that for any chance of a fight. As Kamiloo comes late to the show, and Fnatic again gets something for nothing.
Yeah, Carlsen going to have to reset. You don't really have a position here as Heretics. The TP potentially could come in behind, but I think you have to give it Heretics. Fnatic are just way too strong, although they look like they're going to go for the play.
They're going to try. It's an objective bounty if they get the steal, but those wards you talked about before, using the BTP, but Poby has deleted Sheo. The smite steal is off the map as Fnatic are chasing down the bottom lane. It's a victory march of sorts as Aatrox's in the back pocket. Next will be the turret too.
Yeah, there's little that you can do here as Heretics. Fnatic continue to push forward. Carlsen TP'd in behind. He's made it back to mid to try and clear out the wave, but it's Fnatic just waiting now to pick up this tier 2 on the bottom side.
Might be a sad end for Heretics. They are bleeding. I feel like I've been saying it for the past 5 minutes or so. 7.5k now. That inner turret down bot gone.
I think for Fnatic fans, though, this is exactly what you wanted to see. This is what you're kind of hoping you'd see from Fnatic. It was strong early game, good control, great dives, playing around this bot lane, and it has been clinical in the mid game as well. Reading what Heretics are going to do, answering for that play, continuing to extend your own lead. And Heretics just really haven't had a look in. And after game 1 and game 2 looking a little shaky, this is a much better version of Fnatic for game 3.
It really is. I feel like Razork's woken up a bit. You know, Poby's had another stable game, but there's actually been tools to play with it this time. In the last game of the Annie, there was the Annie stun, but the follow-up was meager. And this game as well, Upset in another lead, and yeah, he's got more tools to use it for Upset as well.
And that's what I was going to say. For game 1, he got 3 kills in the Kai'Sa, but didn't have the support to be like, we are playing around you, we're going to try and extend this lead. Instead, it was a much slower game with Fnatic nearly feeling nervous to do anything on the map. This time around, though, they've been kicking in the door, and they are going to look to kick in the base fairly soon as well.
Fnatic are waiting for the Baron, though. 2 minutes, top side of the map, and 140 until Dragon, which would be number 3. The only delaying factor that Heretics have is that they got an earlier Dragon, which has slowed down the game pace, which slows down the escalation of that Infernal Soul. 2.5k gold lead for mid, 2.5 for jungle. I'm looking at a dead man's place for the chase in jungle. I'm looking at 3rd item on the way for Poby, maybe even a Mikyx with 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. The problem with Syndra is now that she's at, 100 stacks, now that she's getting closer towards that 120, Dagda, I just worry about that deletion that's going to happen if Flakked can't ult fast enough, if Kamiloo gets caught on this Aurora as well.
And it looks like Sheo might just add to the go grab. You see the bottom of your screen?
Tries to predict it over the wall, but Sheo, he slammed against the wall rather than back over.
Yeah, I think it's just impossible for Heretics, especially with this composition. You kind of need it to be in the lead so then you can play for the aggressive picks with Kamiloo and Sheo and Stend. But from this position, it is so difficult because you're already behind and then you're jumping into the Syndra into the ultimate from Mikyx, even the disengage from Oscarinin.
Yeah.
Finding picks just becomes so hard.
I think they found one. Heretics is the clone. Razork comes back in. Stend, you just battle dance away. There's no problem there. Good burst onto Razork, and that's Kamiloo's damage, but he's going to need a little bit more than that to create an explosive presence in this next fight. 25 seconds, Baron. It's coming to a theater near you.
The Dragon at the same time, though, you can kind of see where Fnatic are positioned. They very much know where they want to try and put that focus.
True.
So it's just going to be pushing mid, pushing already there on the top side of the map, and now Fnatic fall back with all the vision they've been protecting in towards this Baron area. But Heretics still snooping around, and looks like actually with all the vision there, Fnatic still going to be happy to just send a few members over to get the Dragon.
Miller did just get his second item. The Shadow Flame picked up Oscarinin, doesn't check the bush in time. Top side, meanwhile, Carlsen. And if that is going to be a Spear of Shojin, that is not picked up as he returns back to the scene of bottom wave. Dragon are going to go down, and we are dotting I's, crossing T's for Fnatic. It's slowed down for you all at home, but the reason is because Fnatic have held control for just so long. It does feel like a one-sided game. It's up to Team Heretics to show us otherwise. As Baron vision being cleared away, but third Dragon now soul point for Fnatic. Baron is the only thing that looms, and it just feels like Fnatic are going to choose when or if.
It's kind of Heretics trying to set up maybe for that miracle play once more. You can see they got a ward. It may, yeah, just here again. Then they can potentially look for a TP play onto, but realistically, they're just too far behind. It is going to take an absolute, as you say, miracle to have anything happen here. But Fnatic kind of, yeah, the ward's cleared out. They're doing their due diligence. They're not trying to rush this. They just want to try and do this by the book.
Hysterics gauge jump picked up for Carlsen as he face checks near top. There's a good pillar out again. Flash away. Carlsen in trouble. Kamiloo even more so. Explosive cast. Delete as Razork to pick up the kill credit, but another body slam with barrel roll slows down the floating beast. The top lane demon, I think not. Carlsen has to work for it. The flash in from Stend is trying to. The deletion will help out though, but Carlsen's run out of ulti while the Pop Blossom tries to send us home, but Flakked with the feathers out. Again, the slow. Poby at full HP, sending haymakers at range. Fnatic, you thought it looked close, but it's still a 1 for 2 in their favor.
It is Razork that went down, though, so unfortunately, I don't think they'll be able to move over towards the Baron.
The plus.
So we'll kind of hold on. Looks like top tower, though, will be the name of the game here, as it will be Oscarinin pushing out, but you can kind of see Fnatic a little bit split. So Poby pushing in mid, Oscarinin will get top, or pushing top, but Carlsen will be there to answer. So once more, Fnatic will go into the breach and see if they can take that fight in the top side jungle, but Heretics hold for the moment.
It is a good point that you raised. The game's not done yet. If I know anything about Team Heretics, whether they're up 6k or down 13,000, any game is winnable. They showed us that last split. I can't remember who they were versing last split, where they came back from 13,500 gold lead, but, or disadvantage, I should say, but as Fnatic start Baron.
Vitality, yeah.
Yeah, remember, anything's possible. Sheo coming in, Razork on the respawn. It's a bit dark over here. Baron going down swiftly.
Yeah, Poby, though, trying to find the pick, doesn't get Sheo. That could have been it, but Fnatic still fishing.
And 4K, Razork is here, ready for the smite. Sheo can't get in the pit. Good explosive cast. Fnatic zone control. True Drop Barrage does the damage. It goes down to upset, and now the fight can begin. The feathers fly in, but Carlsen is isolated and alone, and Hysterics will not save him, so he is sent home. Team Heretics running away from the warpath because Fnatic finally got what they came for.
Yeah, there is no fight. It's just a public execution at this stage. Fnatic are looking towards Heretics, and every time they pop up, they whack them down. Razork just going to keep Heretics away from this top tower as Fnatic look to take everything in the face of them.
They just can't get anywhere near. Poby's zone control is insane, and upsets following up on everything. As you said, top turret is soon to go. This is going to quickly turn into 10,000 gold as Team Heretics fight close to their home, and Razork might be caught out, quickness out, and Razork, old habits die hard, but Poby's there to save the day. He unleashes hell upon Sheo, and Carlsen's still dead for a little bit. Numbers advantage now for Fnatic as they walk towards the top turret, and there's TP for the Between Worlds. Oscarinin sends in the bomb, but it's not enough, only under a clone. That's Mikyx's damage health bar. The zone is still there. Team Heretics getting sent away, and even though they're trying so hard, the gold just seems too much.
Heretics are trying everything they have, but there's just not enough. Fnatic continue to push forward. Oscarinin able to jump in front of that engage from Heretics, and it will be that top inhibitor that falls. Heretics just escorting Fnatic back out, but there's little they can do. A minute now until Inferno Soul as well for Fnatic, but you'll see it here in the replay. It's a nice idea as Kamiloo goes in, but Oscarinin, the flash body slam, prevents Stend from really following up there. So Kamiloo can't look to try and pick off upset. And then Fnatic just start shooting fish in a barrel underneath this tower.
This is so easy, isn't it? We talked about range all game long. And here it shows again. It's such a burner of a series considering the Heretics started off well, and that game too. This could have been 2-0. This could have been the Team Heretics 2-0. It's a crushing way to lose. But hey, I mean, it's a brilliant entry for Poby. He's shown us that maybe the hype is real as Pillar comes through again. And to note, Poby at 120 stacks. He now has the extra percentage of AP plus the Magi's plus the Rabadon's Dagda. With 3 and a bit items, Poby has 745 ability power at 30 minutes into the game. And that guy is an item away from full build plus some stacks. Team Heretics get scattered. They become weak. Razork's going to step up, and with Baron buff, this siege is unrelenting. Carlsen with an angle. All it takes is an engage, and Oscar knows it. Stend caught out against the wall. No escape, chopped down, auto to death by a club. Oscar jumps in, and Poby is diving the fountain. Sheo survives because Unleashed Power is stopped, but Team Heretics, the gold, overcomes them. It was a close series. It was well fought, but Fnatic switched on when it counted, and Poby, my GOAT, your GOAT, our GOAT, debuts in the LEC with a big dub.
Huge win for Fnatic. Game 1 and 2, definitely a little ropey, but game 3 was clean. You said it, Poby, fantastic game over the course of the series. Razork stepping up huge in game number 3. Mikyx being that support role as well, being able to find so many of these fights, turning around that huge team fight on the bottom side thanks to that Pop Blossom.
Yeah.
Insane.
But now you have to vote. It's a hard vote, but you got to vote for your key player of the series. Who was the most consistent throughout the 3 games? Poby upset on Mikyx. Poby very consistent for his debut. Mikyx had a pretty insane series when it counted though. And upset was great all around. It's a hard one. Fnatic get their win, but there is obviously a lot to work on. Let's not sugarcoat it. This team, I think, has got a lot to work through